Well, a little earlier, I sat down with Fianna Fáil Senator Catherine Ardagh, who opened up on her own IVF journey. You're campaigning for change to the support that's offered to couples who are going through IVF and fertility treatments. And for you, it's personal. Can you tell us a little bit about your story?
My story starts over 5 years ago when myself and my husband decided we'd like to try for a family. We thought it would be something quite simple, but ultimately it wasn't to be simple. And we came to the realisation that we needed some support. So we went to our local GP. The GP put me in touch with the Coombe Hospital. In the Coombe, they're very good, and I started a process, a fertility treatment called follicle tracking. A lot of people will do that, and they'll do a few months of it before they go down the IVF route. So we did a few months of that. It didn't work. So, but like every time it didn't work, it's very difficult because you put all your hopes into whatever treatment you're doing at the time, thinking this is going to be it, this is going to be our jackpot, and it's going to work, and we're going to have our little family that we've always dreamed of. But that didn't work, and then we came to the realisation that we were going to need to go down probably the more costly and more serious route of IVF in a private fertility clinic.
And going through that process and each time hoping it will be the one must take a huge physical and mental toll on you, when at the same time you're trying to hold down a job.
Yeah, it's like I can't... Now when I look back, you forget all the anguish and all the grief because you're sort of happy you have your family now and you have different obstacles you're facing. But at the time, I didn't think of anything else in the world. Like, nothing mattered to me except the idea to have a child. And looking back, I was probably suffering from some sort of infertility type depression that I never even realised, because I'd be quite, confident, I'd be chatty, but inside, this was all consuming. It's hard on the couple. And we weren't really talking about it because there's still a huge stigma. We didn't tell people we were going through it. We sort of did it ourselves privately. We went to early morning appointments. We didn't really take time off work. Thankfully, at the moment, the reproductive leave bill is going through the Fianna, so people will now be able to, hopefully, if it passes through the stages in the draw.
Tell us about that, how important you believe that reproductive leave
so it's it is a Labour Party bill. Fianna, when she was in the Fianna, spearheaded the reproductive leave bill, and it's being supported on a cross-party basis, and now the government is using their time to bring it through all stages in the Fianna. And hopefully that will also follow on in the Dáil, so that if you are going through, if you require leave to go through IVF or fertility treatments, or if you've had a miscarriage, that you will actually get, a separate leave that isn't associated with holiday or sick pay. So it's really important for women, because so many women go through either miscarriages or go through fertility treatment without any support from work colleagues. And it's even a step towards, removing the stigma, so that you can tell colleagues, listen, it normalises things like, I've had a miscarriage, or I'm going through IVF, and you can do it and not feel like you're on your own and so isolated. So it's hugely important.
You describe it as hitting the jackpot when you became pregnant and you had twin boys at the end of 2019. Others aren't so lucky.
No, and I'm really conscious of that, because it doesn't work for people all the time. And we were lucky that it did work, and I don't know how many more times I would have gone through it. I know I started looking up surrogacy and perhaps going down that road if it wasn't going to work, and it's a pity that the new AHR bill doesn't properly deal with international surrogacy, but there is an Oireachtas committee going to be set up to deal with that.
And we know, as you mentioned before, that IVF is offered through the Public Health Service in other countries, but not here.
Not here.
How soon do you think it will become a reality here, and that couples will be offered that financial support, that if they're in a position that it isn't working out for them having children, that they can get that help and they can do it, and it isn't a cost issue that's stopping them?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what's required. And people are going so far as remortgaging their homes so that they can pay for a cycle of IVF, and that's just not fair. And some people don't even have the luxury of remortgaging their home and just have to do without it and do without the family they've always dreamed of. So myself and my colleague Fianna have put together a funding bill, an IVF funding bill, that will marry with the AHR bill. The AHR bill doesn't touch on funding. So the main aim of our bill is to provide free IVF in public hospitals all around the country. And it's really crucial that's what couples sort of deserve. couples, pay their taxes. Infertility it's characterised as a disease. It affects 1 in 6 couples nationally, and I think couples deserve the support. A lot of people never look for anything from the state except they're just looking for a little help to have a family, and I think it's a small thing the state can do to help them.